Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to GamerTube, and welcome back to our Poppy Playtime character concept series. So in today's video, the character we're looking into is Shufflebot. So we'll go through this character's location, their gameplay mechanics, their backstory, and all that good stuff as well. As always, I will just state that everything I say in these videos isn't really linked to the overall Poppy Playtime universe or lore. This is just a fun what if scenario and a cool creepy story we get to tell, and we hope you enjoy. And lastly, do be sure to subscribe to GamerTube as that helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. It also keeps you up to date with the videos that we post. Alrighty, well, let's take a deeper look at the character of Shufflebot. So before we start our character concept on Shufflebot, let's first take a quick look at what's happened so far in the story with our other green robot. So our protagonist first met Boogiebot in the testing area of the factory. It was here where we found out the large rusty version of Boogiebot was actually a friendly character. The player was able to climb inside Boogiebot and hide from the withered version of Huggy Wuggy. Once the player and Boogiebot bested Huggy Wuggy and escaped, the two said their goodbyes as the main protagonist moved on to explore the factory. They then met up again once more as Boogiebot arrived at the last moment and saved the player from the deranged dino toy Steggy. After holding back Steggy and letting the player pass through the doors, they once again said their goodbyes. So when it comes to Boogiebot, they weren't the only robot toy that Playtime Co. manufactured. Boogiebot had another variation of themselves. And this other robot toy was named Shufflebot. Shufflebot was the latest and most updated version of Boogiebot. They came with a number of new features that the previous Boogiebot version didn't have. Shufflebot knew much more dance moves and actions than Boogiebot as well. Hence their name, they knew the shuffle and many other dance moves. With Shuffle's two antennae, this also gave them some interesting abilities. For one, they were able to connect to radio frequencies and dance to music that was playing. The most unique function was the ability to teach older Boogiebot models new dance moves. If the new Shuffle version was placed next to the Boogiebot, they would be able to connect to the older model and program new moves into the green older model. For the time, this was quite advanced for a children's toy to say the least. So Shufflebot, like all the other forgotten toys, wasn't widely available at most stores. Of course, the classic Boogiebot was sold everywhere, but only Shufflebot had a limited run. For only a handful of years, children would have been very lucky to get their hands on this rare and advanced toy. Why Shufflebot got discontinued was a mystery to most. There were rumours circulating that Shufflebot would interfere with important radio frequencies. There were some reports that Shufflebot would even broadcast strange messages over local radio towers. Nothing was ever revealed to the public, but Shufflebot was definitely a mysterious character, that's for sure. So now our protagonist finds themselves in a new area of the Playtime Co. factory. And this new area is the robotics department. This was the area where the Playtime Co. engineers designed the robotic components and electronics for Boogiebot and Shufflebot. As they look around, they can see many of the cartoonish looking machines working away as they manufacture the complicated looking devices. The further they venture into the facility, they come across a familiar sight. It's the anti-personnel gate checkpoints, just like the ones they've seen in the testing area. These only allow robotic workers through the gate. Anything organic wouldn't be allowed to pass through. In order to get through this area, they're gonna need some help from their robotic friend once again. The player spots a nearby security office. Maybe they can see Boogiebot on the monitors and signal them to come help. They enter the security office and sure enough they can see Boogiebot on the monitors. After their battle with Steggy, they found themselves stuck in a locked corridor. In this gameplay segment, the player has to pay attention to the monitors and keep track of where Boogiebot is. They need to activate each door so Boogiebot can make their way towards them. They would need to figure out the correct sequence in order to open the doors and let Boogiebot through this maze of corridors. Once the player has completed this puzzle segment, they would be reunited with Boogiebot once more. The player climbs into Boogiebot's chest compartment and the two head through the checkpoint. As they access the second area of the robotics lab, they suddenly get an error message. The player loses control of Boogiebot as they are suddenly ejected from their compartment. It seems that Boogiebot has frozen. It's almost like something is jamming their signal. There's only one more checkpoint to go and they need Boogiebot to enter through. Maybe if they look around, they might be able to find something to help our poor robotic friend. As they look around to find something to help, they come across a number of damaged toys just laying around. They've seen a number of these toys laying around before, but these ones look like they've been shredded into pieces. What could have done this kind of damage? One thing is for sure, our protagonist didn't want to stick around to find out. Eventually, after exploring around, they come across the prototype lab. Maybe there could be a new device in there somewhere that could help. But the door is locked shut. There's a power node on either side of the door. Once again, the player needs to find a power supply and link the two power nodes together. Once they've completed this task, the door unlocks and opens. As they walk through the doors, it slams shut behind them and locks again. There's two power nodes on this side of the door as well, but there doesn't seem to be a power source they can draw from. Maybe there's another way out further down. When the player makes it to the end of the room, they come across what looks to be another Playtime code device. This one is called the GrabPack. The player watches the videotape that explains what it does. So it seems this device attaches to your GrabPack and provides an electric shock and a jolt of power to whatever it grabs. The player can grab as normal, but with the push of a button, they can deliver a large amount of electricity to whatever they want. Hopefully, this would be able to wake Boogiebot. When they return to the two power nodes, they can power them with just one push of a button. The door unlocks and opens once again. This could prove to be very helpful in future power puzzles. As they exit through the door, they see something quite strange. It seems to be another robot. It looks just like Boogiebot, except it's red in colour and has some subtle differences. For one, the player didn't remember Boogiebot having two antennae on their head before. And those grab claws look quite sharp and deadly. Maybe this one is friendly just like Boogiebot. Shufflebot stares at the player when all of a sudden their eyes turn sinister. Their chest compartment opens up, revealing multiple deadly saw blades inside. Our protagonist now knows what shredded up all those poor defenseless toys. From the center of these deadly saw blades launches out another grab claw. The player dodges the claw just in time. If this claw were to grab them, it would pull them straight into the multiple deadly saw blades, shredding them into pieces. Shufflebot watches the player's every movement as they circle around them. The player notices when Shufflebot moves past any of the monitors on the machinery, they show the exact same error message as on Boogiebot's face. That's it! It was Shufflebot that was messing with their signal. If the player wanted to free Boogiebot, they'd have to take out those antennae. So in this boss battle segment, the player needs to grab onto Shufflebot's antenna and deliver a surge of power. Both the antennas would require 3 shocks each. The only drawback is, after each power surge, the GrabPack would need to recharge. Usually this would take around 30 seconds. The player could deliver a shock with one hand, or if they were skilled enough, they could grab both antennas and shock them at the same time. Whilst waiting for the grab shock to power up, the player would have to dodge Shufflebot's oncoming attacks. This would include strikes from both their deadly sharp grabbers, and the middle grabber that would pull the player into the deadly saw blades and kill them instantly. When Shufflebot is nearly at their end, they would start to spark and smoke. Eventually, the player would deliver the finishing blow. This would overload Shufflebot's circuits and cause them to shut down. Finally, the signal jammer was turned off. Hopefully, Boogiebot was free from their grasp. As they return to Boogiebot, they give them a light jolt and they wake up. Finally, our green robotic friend was back. The player hops back in Boogiebot's chest cavity as they enter through the final checkpoint and leave the robotic center behind them. They both move on to the next area, awaiting their next foe. Now I feel like Shufflebot would be a great addition to the enemy roster of Poppy Playtime. I feel like having another robotic character would be pretty interesting. And it would definitely be awesome to see a much more dangerous and sinister version of the lovable Boogiebot. Alrighty everyone, well that's all we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting and subscribing, as it helps out a lot and it's greatly appreciated. And also do be sure to let us know in the comment section down below what you thought of Shufflebot and what you'd like to see going forward. Alrighty everyone, well, to the next video, catch you later, bye.